I thought it would be easier if I were to show you how to typeset. I know that from my critiques it may be a little bit vague in my marked up PDF, so I figured I'd actually go ahead and typeset one of the first paragraphs in the exploration that we have this week. So you can see how it goes. I'm doing this live, so I don't know how long it's going to take. Also forgive any background noise that you may hear. I think there is a helicopter that's flying overhead. Also, my dog may make some noise. As I said, I'm doing this live. I don't know how long this is going to take me. So let's get started. As you can see, I already have my header and colophon set up. The header is Helvetica Canoe at 8-point font with 50 tracking. And so is the colophon. And you can see I intend to typeset this first paragraph with 9 points over 13 leading and Adobe Garamond regular with 0 tracking as stated in the assignment. So let's get started. I already have the sample text loaded, so I'm just going to paste it here. This is the default, you can see the default typeface and point size and leading. Before I even change this, I'm going to make sure that I have my hyphenation on, which you can see, hyphenate. Let's make sure that it is right. So let's see. You can see it's 6332.5, which is right, and all these are checked off. This is right. So I'm going to change this to Adobe Garamond. And then 9 over 13. And this is me not doing anything, and it's still 0 tracking as it says here. Now let's zoom in on this. There we go. Zoom in a little bit more. Perfect. So you can see me not doing anything. There is this shaped rag here. Looking through anything else. Nope, I don't see anything else, but you can see how these rags aren't really undulating like they should. And let's see how we can improve that. Now, in my critiques to you all, I said that you can adjust line by line, which you should be doing to create more distinct rags. And even though the overall tracking is 0, you can adjust individual lines by plus or minus 15, as long as the difference between each line is no more than 10. So let's see how we can do this. So to create a more distinct rag here, I'm going to make this 15. And you can see what that does. That brings that seal up here, which isn't bad. So that means we can go ahead and make this. Let's try. I said no more than 10. So let's make this 10 different. So let's make this 10. That'll make that poke out a little bit more. You see how that that changes everything. So let's try 5. This really is, and that didn't do anything either. This really is a game of push and pull here. So it's really just a lot of experimenting so you get the right rag. So let's undo this. Let's make it back to 0. I made this 15. Now let's make this, let's try 10. See if that seal doesn't pop back up, which it does. Let's try 5. Okay. Actually, let's try to work with this 15 here. There we go. Let's make it 10. And I think that if I make this 5, it does. So let's leave that as is, because that's still starting to undulate right here. So let's see if we make this a little pop out just a little bit more, so it's touching this end of the line right here, because you want at least one of the lines to touch at the end. You can see Cheap does that. So let's see if we can make this do that a little bit more, and it does. Now because this is forming a shape rag here. You can see these 3 lines. Let's see if we can, what we can do about that. So let's make this 15. Maybe that by will bump down a little bit, which it does. And then this is creating a shape rag here, so let's undo that. But maybe we can make this 5, so it's at least up. That does it. And you can see now this is starting to undulate a little bit better. We can maybe make this 5. You can see it's starting to undulate very nicely here. Let's see if we can bring this. Okay, let's get that back to 0. Let's bring this maybe out a little bit. 5. Nope, that pushes it down. You can see this is creating a shape rag. So this might be fine here. Let's see how we can improve this bottom part here. Now again, I said no more than 10 difference is 0, so we can even take this in. Trying to see, we have this stacked, I can see this stacked words here, so let's definitely try to see if we can improve that. So let's just highlight this whole bottom part here, and let's make this -5. Now we got rid of that the stacked words, but then we have this double hyphen here, right here, and right here, which is not desirable. Even though the rag is looking a lot better, but we don't want that either. So let's try to make this 0, see what that does. Again, that doesn't really help us very much either. So maybe it's that this sheep has to get bumped down a little bit. Let's try that. There we go. That looks a lot better. We got rid of the stacked words. We don't have a double hyphen here. This is starting to look really good. I wonder if we can get this to hyphenate. Let's try this. Let's try 0. What does that do? That looks even better. Let's bring this out. Let's say 10, maybe. Oops, hit the minus sign. Let's try 10. That brings it out quite nicely, so you can see how this, make sure that the difference is 0. This is 10. Yep, that's perfectly fine. You can see again how this is looking really nice. Where can we improve? If we can get this, I don't remember what this did. I think it bumped everything down. Let me just make sure. Can we try 10? Let's try 10. So you can see this undulation is really nice right here. How can we improve? This undulation is nice here. These 2 lines a little bit. Let's see. They're both 0. So this goes out, in, out. So the way this is going, let's see if we can make these hit this line a little bit better. So we'll highlight this. Let's make it 5. And that's actually not bad either. As long as we can bring this out. Let's try the word, the lines around it. 0, 0, which this is 5, I'm sorry, which means we can make this a 10. That looks really nice. Again, oh, I just saw something. We have a stack word right here, which is not desirable. So let's try to get rid of that. Let me think. If we, how can we get rid of that? Let's try to bump that width down and see what that's going to affect everything. And that's one of the frustrating things with typesetting, is that everything affects everything else. Let's try 15. Oh, that undid everything that we did. Okay. Maybe this is that this by has to get soft return to the next line. Let's try 15. See what that does. That bumps it down perfectly. And still, we still have a very nice rag here. We don't have the stack word anymore. I don't see any stack words. I hope you all don't catch any mistakes that I'm making. I'm going through looking to see if there's any stacked words. I don't see any stacked words. And let's check this rag again. It's not looking shaped. It's got a nice C undulation to it. We can even, let's see if we can try to improve this a little bit, just a little bit more. Just -5, 0, 10. Nope, it's fine the way it is. Now, this is done. To take this a little step further, which is, completely optional, but highly suggested, if you've gotten this far, why not make these non-aligned figures? Because as we learned, non-aligned figures go with text because it makes it look like it has ascenders and descenders. So the way to do that, bonus here, you go to glyphs. I have this palette open. You can also go to window, and you can go to type and tables and glyphs. That'll pull this up. And from here, you can change, right now it's this, the normal digit 1. You can change it to the proportional figure, old style. What you see that do is this. Then you highlight, let's change this 8, 5, and you can see how it blends in better with the type. Let me go ahead and do it with the 160. I'm sorry, 1600. Again, doing the same thing. I want to make sure that I'm choosing the right one. You can see what a difference that makes. Let me go ahead and do that for these because one of the things about typesetting is it's very, very detail oriented, and I get a little obsessed about it. And you can see how that kind of, let me undo that so you can see how that changed the rag on this, which is not a bad thing. It makes it undulate a little bit more. Actually, it would be better if it went out a little bit. So actually, no, it's fine the way it is. That's just fine because it's not that big of a deal because these are undulating quite nicely. Where else could we do that? Let's take a look. I see these 11 here. Might as well do that. And I see the 1230. Let's do that as well. There you go. Let me zoom out so you can see the full effect that it has. You can see how, turn this off so you can see without the guides. You can see how this has a very nice undulation right here. There are no stacked words. This is a good typesetting. So if you can make all of your paragraphs look like this, you can see it took some time and a little finessing and playing around, but once you get it right, it looks really professional. Again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I hope this helped.